So we were waiting for more passengers, but apparently they had a problem at customs. And they're not guilty. There's some items, they're not forbidden. I mean, they are forbidden in Cuba, but sometimes people don't listen.
I
So they may pay a taxi. Okay then, be welcome everyone to Miami, and oh, sorry. Well, it happens that the previous flight to someone came from Miami, and that's why. Well, you know that you're not going to Miami, you're going to, we are going to Varadero, because now you're not in Varadero.
Woo!
So there up, you read Varadero, but Varadero is half hour from here, okay? Half hour, yeah. In half hour we will be in Varadero, and in about 40 minutes we will be in the first hotel. By the way, do you know what Varadero means in Spanish? No? The place for the perfect holidays.
Yes.
If you know, Varadero, according to TripAdvisor, is being nominated, classified, and categorized as the 6th best beach in the world. So it's within the 10 tops, beaches in the world. And I realize that every one of you booked a hotel with a nice beach. And by the way, do you know what Miami means in English?
No.
I guess you don't. Many illegal activities, murder included. I think you choose a better destination, at least a safer one. So once in Varadero, the first hotel we will stop at, it will be the Iberostar, and don't be confused because Iberostar is the name of the hotel chain. So we got Iberostar Bella Vista, which will be the first one. Okay, then after Iberostar Bella Vista, we will go to Royalton Varadero. After Royalton Varadero, we will go to Grand Memories.
Woo!
Then after Grand Memories, we go next door, which is Laguna Azul, and after Laguna Azul, we go next door, which is the music. So Grand Memories, Iberostar, Laguna Azul, and music, they are in the same area, okay? One next to the other. So totally 5 hotels, and I hope by maybe an hour, everyone will be home, right? So, yeah, you're home for a week, maybe for 2 weeks. And well, I don't know which category are you included, because people coming from Canada, we divide Canadians in 2 different groups. Don't be offended. Many timers and first timers. Which group are you? First timers or many timers?
Many timers.
Many timers. That's why you're back here. Because I know that in Canada, on TV and in the media, they set an alert not to travel to Cuba, because in Cuba there are food problems and blackouts. Anyway, you're so stubborn that you decided anyway to go.
We don't care.
To check yourselves.
We don't care.
Now let me tell you, I was talking to a friend on the flight, right on the coach, and we were talking about tourism in Cuba. And tourism in Cuba is not this year as it used to be. It hasn't been that successful, not because of Canada. Canada is being supporting Cuba a lot, but European tourism is traveling less to the island, okay, because of the war, the crisis, and because Europeans, they like going to Trinidad anywhere, and well, there is a certain difference. So people from Canada mostly come, for the beach, the sun, the people, and you take a tour, one tour along the week, but Canadian people are not those people, like making a round trip around Cuba, because from Toronto to Varadero is 3 hours. But from Spain, let's say from Madrid or Paris, is like 7 or 8 hours. So it takes them double, to come to the island, and that's why they want to do it all at once. But well, you may try again and again every year, or every couple of years, etc. So let's talk about the blackouts and food problems. Yes, it's true that in Cuba we are facing blackouts. Okay, 16 hours a day, 14 hours a day. Though remember that you're not going to be in Cuba. You're going to be in Varadero. So Varadero is an international resort, and in Varadero, no blackouts at all. Okay, so don't you worry about that. You're not going to face any blackout in the hotel. If you would like to enjoy a night of blackout, you know, a romantic dinner with candlelights, etc., you may go with me to my house. But in Varadero, unfortunately, you will not have it, okay? Then, about food problems. It is true that because of the diesel crisis, oil crisis we are facing, sometimes in the buffet, you will find not the flavored yogurt you're used to, and then there should be white yogurt. And maybe the cheese you are used to, you know, the one you like is not in the buffet, but there will be cheese anyway. Okay? And I can guarantee that you will not starve, you know, along the week. So there will be decent food, you know, to try along the week. And well, in general, we thank you so much for supporting Cuba. I guess you know that because of your visit, many people are still working in the hotels and supporting their families. Okay? That's because of the so thank you very much. And well, now let's talk about the pamphlet you were given, everyone. At the front page, you may see, you may read the name of the Air Canada guide taking care of you in the hotel along the week. Also the time this guide will be in the hotel, okay, and the place. As well as there is a description about different tours you can try along the week. If you're a first timer, and I would like to help you to organize your holiday planner, because from here to the hotel there will be like 40 minutes, then it could be like an info briefing, the one I'm providing you. Anyway, not a bad idea to go tomorrow to the Air Canada info briefing. Okay, that's something very important. So talking about tours, listen, if you're in Cuba for the first time, okay, you're in Varadero. Varadero is 2.5 hours from Havana, and it's a sin being in Varadero and not visiting Havana. It will be like visiting Rome and haven't seen the Pope. If you go to Rome, you have to see the Pope. Okay, if you're in Varadero first time, you need to go to Havana. So you can try Havana on a day tour. We call it Colonial Havana, which is a day tour to Havana on a coach with a English-speaking guide and lunch included. Okay, this is the basic Havana. It's not too expensive, by the way. Then, if you've been to Havana before, and you say, well, Havana doesn't offer anything brand new for me, you're wrong. There is a new tour to Havana, which is called Havana Premium. And it's premium because it does all the things the regular one doesn't do. For example, visiting Ernest Hemingway's house in Havana. For example, riding old-timers, of about an hour in Havana. Also, there will be a chance to take excellent pictures from the rooftop of the Reardon Hotel in Havana, which is located at the bay entrance with the view of the fortresses, etc. And in the evening, you attend to the 9 o'clock canon shots, which is a ceremony inside a fortress in Havana City. And sometimes people complain about regular Havana, about free time, because free time is about an hour and people want more. The Havana Premium offers you more free time than the regular one. Okay, then, if you're interested in culture, okay, in dancing, music, Cuban rhythms, etc., Havana Special will be your tour. As in the evening, after visiting Havana, you attend to the Tropicana show, which is the best show we got in the island and one of the most famous shows in the world. This is the Havana Special. And there is a tour which I don't suggest you to do. And I'd say don't do it because we work not only transferring, we do also tours to Havana and everywhere. And maybe you're gonna be in the case of choosing this tour because I said, and then you're gonna be blaming me. So I'm telling you in advance, don't try, which is Havana plus Cigars Factory. Havana plus Cigars Factory is not what you're thinking. Okay, because if you're interested in visiting Cigars Factory, let me tell you that along the day you go visit a factory in Havana and the visit will last for just 10 minutes. You're gonna be people rolling cigars from 100 meters away. And the most important thing, you're not going to be allowed to take any picture or video. So finally, you feel like frustrated, and then you're asking yourself, how come did I book this tour if the Cigars Factory visit is being so short and I got no members to take away with me? So this is something I don't suggest you to do. Anyway, if you're looking for cigars rolling, etc., there is a brand new tour in Varadero designed for many timers or first timers. Its name is Sugar, Tobacco and Rum.
Yeah, I saw this one.
So early in the morning, and it's not too far away from Varadero, we go 18 kilometers away from Varadero and we visit a former sugar factory. So you're gonna see all the machinery to make sugar out of the sugar cane. Okay, you visit also a plantation. So you see the process of sugar cane cutting, you may do pictures with the machetero, etc. And at the end of the tour, there will be a chance to drink sugar cane juice. They squeeze, the sugar cane and they give you a little glass you to try. And you can add rum if you want, by the way. Then the highlight of this tour is at the very end that you will enjoy a ride in a steam locomotive train from the early 20th century. So there will be a chance to take pictures in the train, riding the locomotive, etc. So this is the very first activity in the morning. Okay, after that we go visiting a real rum factory, which is located in Cardenas City, the birthplace for Havana Club rum. So it's an old factory. You see all the process, and at the end there will be some rum tasting. So you will learn how to categorize rum. Then after that we come back to Varadero for lunch. Lunch will be in a restaurant at the 40th Street, and after lunch we go visiting the Casa del Rum. So the purpose of visiting La Casa del Rum is tasting like 6, 7, 8 different kinds of rum. A soup, but you can try as much as you want, every kind of rum. And then at the very end, the highlight of the tour is maridaje. Maridaje is pairing. So you will go to a place where after sitting there, you will be given a cup of Cuban coffee. You're gonna be given a little glass of Cuban rum, and every one of you will be given a cigar to try. Okay, and while doing all this, there will be a roller rolling cigars in front of you. He will roll, for example, a Monte Cristo size 4, and he will tell you how many leaves are needed, the different features of the leaves, etc., etc. And if you would like to sit there and to take pictures in the table, you may do as many pictures or video as you want. And if you're looking for cheap cigars, okay, there you will find them. Okay, this is sugar, tobacco, and rum, and it's made 3 times along the week: Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Right? Then, if you've been here before and you would like to enjoy a day by the ocean, well, the catamaran will be a good choice. And if you would like to have a ride around the countryside, well, the Jeep Safari will be another good option. I'm not telling you about overnight tours because you came for a week mostly, and you're not going to be away from all inclusive for 2 days. So 1 day tour is enough, I think. Then, how to pay and how to book for all these tours? Go to the Air Canada guide. Okay? How will you pay? Well, now let's talk about money and open your ears well, not to make mistakes, because Cuba is a very changing country. Probably you've been here 6 months ago, but now things are different. Listen, for buying tours, the only thing you need is your credit card. Okay? All tours should be paid in credit card, no cash, credit card. So, I'm trying to tell you, do not change a great amount of money, Canadian dollars, into Cuban money, because for paying tours, you don't need it. Okay? You will pay with your credit card. Also, I'm talking about money. The Cuban currency is called the Cuban peso. Okay, and maybe you remember that in Cuba, American dollars were not accepted and were not exchangeable. Now they are. Okay, so in the hotel shop, now you can pay with your credit card or you can pay with American cash. Okay, something different from what you had before. Okay, then many private services. What is a private service? You go to downtown Varadero and you go to a private bar. There you may pay in Cuban pesos, but they will give you also a chance to pay in American dollars. Okay, you take a taxi, and the taxi will be payable only in US dollar, because gas in Cuba is in US dollar. Okay, then you go to a bar. If it is a private bar, okay, you may pay in American dollar. And being Varadero, a touristic resort, okay, in many places they accept the American dollar, and eventually they may even accept the Canadian one. Understood? So, where will you use the Cuban pesos? Well, Cuban pesos, are for government places. Well, prices, are in Cuban pesos. Okay, but I don't suggest anyone to change a great amount of dollars into Cuban pesos, because number one, Cuban peso is not exchangeable back. So what you change is changed. Okay, though you may take home up to 5,000 pesos for your next visit, but it happens that 5,000 pesos is nothing. Okay, then it's not exchangeable. Okay, the way back, and many things. May be paid in US dollars. So Cuban peso may be used for minor expenses. What is a minor expense? Well, you go to Havana for your free time. You need Cuban pesos. Okay. Don't change Cuban pesos for tipping. Cubans don't want to be tipping in Cuban pesos. The reason, in our country, unfortunately, there are many items and services which are only available in foreign currency. I mean US, eventually Canadian. Like which? Shoes, garments, domestic appliances, gasoline and diesel. Okay, all these items are only available in US dollar. So when you're giving people, foreign currency as a tip, they are very pleased about that. When you give them Cuban pesos, these Cuban pesos are not going to be used for so because they are not accepted. Okay, so what do the people do with the foreign currency? They take it to the bank, they make a bank deposit on a credit card, and then they may go buy, things after that. Then about tipping. Tipping in Cuba is not only a courtesy, it's also a need, and a way to solve many problems. The Cuban banks do not sell foreign currency. So you're a source of foreign currency for the people. Okay, and attention. Now the exchange rate of Cuban peso to US. 110 Cuban pesos is 1 US at the bank or in the hotel reception. 110 per 1. What about Canadian? 82 per 1. 82 Cuban pesos is 1 Canadian. But this is at the bank. What happens? Unfortunately, many people will approach to you to change pesos for your dollars. Those pesos you need for minor expenses, for if you go to Havana, etc. But people will always give you a better exchange rate. Okay, you say no. How much the bank gives you? Well, the bank give you 110. He said, well, I'm gonna give you 200 or 250. Then way more. But you need to be careful. You need to be careful who you change your money to. It must be someone you know. Because otherwise people may give you wrong money, and you know what will happen? Police will say, it's your business. You know you cannot do it. So when you change the people win the possibility for having foreign currency. You win because you're going to be better paid for your money. But take into consideration, do not change more than $20, $30. That's all you need. Okay? Remember, for minor expenses, not for tipping, not for going to a private bar, etc. 20 Canadian dollars is okay. If you are able to change this Canadian dollar to people and you make more money, even better. Okay? If you're not able, well, it could be like 40 at the bank. But I think that if you do something like that, with 20, it will be 20, 30 will be okay. About suggestions for tips. Listen, if you go to the lobby bar and you stay there for an hour and you drink 2 coffees, 1 water and a couple of beers, it's not a bad tip, leaving right on the table 1 bill of US. Okay, that's okay for the bartender. They're gonna share it later on among them all. If you are all day long by the pool bar, and you drank 6 beers, 2 mojitos, and the bartender has been exchanging with you, etc., etc., and he's making good mojitos, a 5 Canadian is not a bad tip. For your chambermaid, it doesn't matter how old the hotel may be, as long as your room is clean and well kept by the maid. Every other day you may leave you may give a tip of 5. American or Canadian, of course. American better, but you're coming from Canada, maybe you're not having that many Americans. Okay, and take into consideration when you're going to give away a tip that the bills in Cuba need to be brand new. Those Canadian dollars of 5, usually you go to the store, half. No, in Cuba, forget it. If they have just a little scratch, the banks will never accept it. And if someone comes to you and requests from you to change a few lunis into a bill, it's because the bank doesn't take coins, only bills. Understood?
Yeah. We're still buying coins back.
Yeah, you can take coins back.
Yeah.
But people in Cuba, there's nothing they
When
can
you're
do
at the
with
bar,
coins.
they only have loonies, so they'll exchange it, no problem.
Okay.
We're used to buying.
Any question in there? No?
Why the US dollar?
Listen, how come the Cuban government was intending to the elimination of the foreign currency in Cuba, no US dollar, because we have this conflict with the US, and American government is following all Cuban commercial operations, around the world, and it's very difficult for us to. We have only embargo with the US. We may go buying any other place, but any other place we need American currency.
Right. Okay.
Okay? So, though we don't like it, we need to accept that American dollar is the only way to bring supplies to Cuba. Okay, that's why. And let me tell you, don't be offended if sometimes people, when you're trying to pay in Canadian, They say, no, American. The reason is that most of the people have never seen Canadian dollars in their lives. They don't know the exchange rate, for the Canadian. And what may happen? They say, okay, riding the taxi is 20 Americans. You have no Americans. Okay, 40 Canadians.
Yeah.
It's not that they want to, overcharge you. It's just the fact that they are not real, They are having no real knowledge of how worth a Canadian dollar may be. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes
Then
sense.
we are already in Varadero. So in 2 minutes, we're going to cross the bridge. And then in 10 minutes, we will be at Iberostar Bella Vista.
All right, thank you.
Perfect.
So a couple of more things. Before you get off from the bus, you need to check all your personal belongings. Please be sure nothing has been left behind, because many of you are having the passports here on the coach with you, and you may leave it behind. Check twice, because there is always one, as we say in Cuba. Try not to be this one. This is one thing.
Jote.
And I will be telling you the hotels we are arriving to. So should you like to tip the team for the driving and information, in the front there will be a hat, and you can put there your tips, which will be highly appreciated.
You sure the tip?
Yeah, we are a team.
Good job. Thank you. Very good job.
So if we